Good evening. This is going to be the Phoenix Union High School District's Superintendent Search Community Forum for December 11th. We will be starting momentarily. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the mountain. Thank you for coming out this evening for the Phoenix Union Superintendent search for our school community. We're excited to embark on this journey together to find a leader who will guide Phoenix Union into the future. Over the next few months, PXU will engage through inclusive search to ensure that we find the best candidate who aligns with our community's values and vision. Phoenix Union will be conducting a comprehensive search that includes the input from various stakeholders, such as teachers, parents, students, and community members. Their perspective will be crucial in understanding the needs and aspirations of our schools. Throughout this process, we provide regular updates and opportunities for input to ensure transparency and transparency. We encourage everyone to actively participate and share their thoughts, ideas, and expectations. Together, we'll select a superintendent who will inspire and empower our students, support our teachers, and foster a positive, inclusive learning environment. Thank you for being part of this journey. I'd like to welcome Phoenix Union Chief Development Officer Juvenal Lopez to the stage to facilitate this evening's conversation.
All right, mic working? Great. So good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Fair. I just want to say thank you to your team. Thank you to the district team for all the hard work and service that's been put in place for us to be able to have this in-person forum as well as a virtual option. So with that being said, I do want to thank you all for being here. My name is Juve Lopez, Chief Development Officer. Tonight, I'm serving as the liaison for the district, working closely with our search firm, Hazard Young Atea. HYA was recently selected by our governing board to serve in the capacity of providing support from beginning to end as our superintendent search continues, and our governing board will be able to select the next permanent superintendent for your school district. Thank you for being here tonight. It is important for your voice to be heard. Stay informed, stay involved, and make sure that you are a part of this process because it is one of the most important decisions that our district will take this school year coming up. To our parents and to our students, thank you for being here, being involved. This is a unique opportunity that you too can have your voice raised, have your input on what are those qualities, what are those experiences, what are the values that you're looking for in our next superintendent. Thank you for choosing Phoenix Union. Thank you for having confidence in our schools. The academies here at South are a perfect example of what we are all about. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over now to Dr. John Besh, who's going to go ahead and facilitate the rest of the program.
Thank you. Welcome, and I want to thank the school team here, security staff. I think I met all of the principals, and I see some familiar faces because we hosted a listening session in the library just before this event tonight. So thank you, those of you who are getting a double dose tonight. I appreciate you coming. My name is John Bash. I'm with Hazard Young Atea and Associates. On the screen you see pictures of my two colleagues who are joining me on this search. They will be tuning in this evening to view remotely. And we've been busy last week and this week meeting with several groups. And this is the third of 3 forums that we've held across the district. And so we, again, truly appreciate your time. As has been shared, the purpose of tonight is to really gather your input around 3 questions that we're asking in all of these listening sessions so that your voice is heard. And I will get into the questions in just a moment, but an interpreter for the district is here, and I'm going to have him welcome folks who might be our Spanish speakers tonight here and online.
¿Qué tal? Muy buenas noches. Para las personas que puedan requerir servicio de interpretación, tenemos equipo disponible en caso de que lo necesiten. Como dijo el señor Nash, van a repasar varias preguntas y se espera la participación de ustedes. Si alguno de ustedes necesita interpretación, solicitar al equipo. Igualmente, si desean pasar aquí al frente a hacer una pregunta, yo los acompañaría aquí al frente para que hagan su pregunta e interpretar junto con ustedes. Gracias.
Thank you. All right, as we get started this evening, I want to kind of walk you through and also welcome folks that are tuning in online how this will go. I'm going to provide a brief overview of the search process itself, and then we will review the 3 questions that we're including in these listening sessions. And if anybody online has registered to speak tonight, we're going to start with that list, much like your governing board does at their meetings. Once we've heard from the folks that have signed up online, you'll see a lectern up here with a microphone. And those of you who would like to share input with us this evening who are here live, we invite you to come forward, and we'll make sure we leave ample time for you to make your way safely down the slope or down the stairs. But we are eager to hear what you have to share, and we hope some of you will take advantage of this opportunity. So a bit about the process. We started this process in November following the governing board's selection of our firm, and held a planning meeting with them not long after that decision was made. This engagement phase rolls out along with our advertising and recruiting of potential candidates. We advertised the position at the end of November, and we've been doing outreach, phone calls, video meetings with prospective candidates to really work the network that we have both nationally and regionally here to find as many qualified candidates as we can for your governing board to consider. The position will remain open into the new year. It closes on the February 12th, so candidates will have ample time to see the posting. It gives us time to market. We currently have the position advertised on 17 different job boards, again, regionally and nationally. The engagement phase includes these listening sessions along with a survey that was launched late last week. And so we encourage you to go to the district's website, because they've created a superintendent search page there, and a link to the stakeholder survey is there. And we would ask all of you tuning in and here in the room tonight to help us get the word out to students, families, your colleagues, community members. We're eager to get as many voices involved as possible. That survey will stay open until January 5th, basically aligned with the district's winter recess for students. We will finalize our engagement work and our listening sessions in January, and on the 19th of January, we will present a leadership profile report to your governing board that will summarize the strongest themes that we heard in response to these 3 questions you're going to hear tonight. That leadership profile report will become a guiding document that will prioritize for your governing board what you as stakeholders have identified as the most critical issues, the greatest strengths, and the characteristics and qualities you most desire in the next superintendent. That information is used to develop interview questions and screening criteria, not only in reviewing applications, but in considering candidates they invite to interview. Right now, we have planned on February 23rd to present applicants to the governing board, and from that group, the governing board will select 5 to 6 candidates to come and interview in a first round of interviews. And at this point, we're looking at February 29th to interview those folks in closed session with the board. For those of you who may already know, that evening is the district's annual foundation gala, so we're scheduling that event to make sure your board can still participate in that fun. And then from that group of 5 or 6 candidates, your board will select 2 to 3 finalists, and that's when the names of candidates become public. And your board has expressed a desire to have an engagement opportunity with the finalist candidates, so you as stakeholders can meet each of them, and they may have another way for you to weigh in and share your input on the specific candidates as well. March 4th, 5th, and 6th right now are placeholder dates for finalist activities, including engagement activities with groups throughout the day, perhaps school tours and those kinds of activities. We haven't yet finalized with your governing board, but that planning work will also occur in January and February. The goal that your governing board has was to have the selection decision made prior to your students' spring recess, which begins on March 11th. So this timeline achieves that goal, and we're on pace and having a lot of response here to our engagement phase. Again, thank you for being here tonight. So with that, we're going to proceed with the reading of these 3 input questions. And again, these are the same questions we're asking in the focus group listening sessions that we've conducted over the last 2-3 weeks. The first question is, what do you believe? And I think we have this on a slide. There we go. First question is, what do you believe are the greatest strengths of the district at this time? The second question is, again, on the screen, what current and or future issues are facing the district over the next 3 to 5 years? And finally, what personal and professional characteristics do you believe are the most essential for the governing board to consider in screening superintendent candidates? And so with that, I'm going to turn to our tech folks. Do we have anybody waiting to be heard? No? Okay. I assume you'll flag me down if somebody appears suddenly, because I think we had one person register, so I guess we'll find out. All right. Well, that brings us then, and I'm going to circle back on the slides to the first question and invite anybody who's willing and interested to come forward to the lectern if you'd like to share one or more of the greatest strengths of Phoenix Union High School District with us tonight. Anybody want to break the ice? Oh, great, yeah. And if you're more comfortable staying where you're seated, Juve is volunteering to run around the room with the microphone and come to you. So thank you. Anybody, wave your hand if you'd like Juve to come and hand you the microphone. Anybody? All right, well, I'm going to try something here. Oh, we got a hand over here.
Hello, good afternoon. As a student here at South Mountain High School, I'd say our strengths would be having extracurricular activities. I guess that amount of it makes me want to like join and stay after school and have fun.
Thank you. All right, to generate a little bit more, I'm going to ask you to maybe turn to the person next to you
have another?
and share. We got one right here.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Maribel Martínez. Yo pienso que la escuela está en un buen distrito, en un buen lugar, perdón. Y hay muchos alumnos, entonces esa es una de las fortalezas. Sé que hay, sé que hay muchos alumnos aquí, entonces está en un buen lugar la escuela. Gracias.
I think one of the strengths is that the school is well located. It's in a good location, in a good district. I know there's a lot of students enrolled in this high school, so I think that's one of the strengths, the number of students enrolled here.
Other hands, I don't want to miss anybody. up here.
One of the strengths that I believe is one of the greatest in the district is that we provide resources to our families and our students.
Are built upon. Anybody else want to share?
Thank you. In our district, we have a lot of choice available for families. So as somebody mentioned, we have a lot of students enrolled here. We allow students to freely enroll at any school, but we offer them really excellent options. So the school where you're at right now, we have a very different structure from the other schools right down the road. You're going to get a good education at any of them, but we are allowing families and kids a lot of choice and freedom of movement within the district. If they want a large school, small school, more traditional setup, academy setup, if you want to go a half a day to another program, you can. We allow for a lot of creativity. There's a lot of local autonomy given to our different schools, and a lot of support from the district office, and a lot of belief in the importance of that novelty and creativity so that we can have really great outcomes for kids.
Great. Thank you. There's a hand up here in the middle.
Another strength of our district is our strong CTE programs. A lot of them lead directly to industry credentials, paid internship opportunities for our students that often lead into jobs for them. So having that pathway of being able to get students experiencing something in the classroom to actually demonstrating it in the field is a really good aspect of our district.
And I'm sorry I didn't see you. I'm in the spotlights up here, so it's a little blinding.
I have a new role this year as athletic director, and I think that a strength that our district has is the connections that we offer kids either through athletics or activities. Not every kid comes to school because of something academic, but that opportunities in athletics encourages them to continue in the academics. It also provides something for our kids to do on campus, especially if the community or something at home is not exactly how they would want it to be. And I think even if they're not the greatest athlete, the fact that they feel a part of a team and have another caring adult that they can connect to is something that our district offers, and they're always looking for additional athletics and sports and activities for kids to be involved in, and I think that's really one of our greatest strengths.
Thank you.
I want to say I think it's the academy model that we have here, and we now have 2 academy models and working towards a 3rd academy model, which works really well with the Phoenix College TLC program where students can go there. I think that's a strength for our school district.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to move us to the second question. It doesn't mean we can't circle back to more strengths. What current and or future issues are facing the district over the next 3 to 5 years?
Not only in our district, but across the country, recruiting and retaining teachers is an issue that we face now, will face in the future. So hopefully with our next superintendent, we have someone who's very forward-thinking in that. Let's recruit and not have such a shortage in teachers.
For me, I think it has to do with teaching and learning. I know that before Dr. Geston left, he talked about any gains that were made with educational inequities were exacerbated during COVID, and so all of those are still there. And trying to find a way to bridge that gap, especially for our ELD and our ESS population, so that they can access all of the opportunities that we do have, because it's not just about having the opportunities, but it's equipping our students and our families with the tools that they need in order to have the skills to access those and to be able to thrive in those. And I think teaching and learning mitigates so many of the behavior issues. And like I said before, the connection, if kids aren't passing classes, they can't play in sports. If they're working on improving their grades, they're not really going to go to activities or do other things that we want them to enjoy. And so that teaching and learning piece, and with what Mr. Rigsby said, it is about recruiting and retaining quality teachers to provide a quality experience within the classroom.
Thank you. Other issues or challenges?
As was alluded to earlier, certainly open district and choice is certainly a blessing in many ways. At the same time, there's also a balance that I think needs to kind of occur with that. I can say sometimes you see other school districts even busing students out of this district to go to another district, and I do think that's a big problem. I don't want to use the word rating, but it's almost like they're coming in, rating this district and taking them elsewhere, which I do think is a big problem that will probably need to be addressed.
Thank you.
También refiriéndose a los maestros, sí hay un problema con que los maestros no hay suficientes, pero también otro problema es que no hay maestros que no están certificados. No sé cuando agarran un maestro, no sé en qué se basan para saber si un maestro está realmente certificado para enseñar. Y también otro problema es que en los últimos años me he enterado de que ha habido peleas aquí en la escuela, muchas peleas entre alumnos, incluso los maestros se han metido para desapartar esa pelea para que ya no ocasione más problemas, y hasta los maestros han sido golpeados. Entonces yo quisiera así una solución para eso también, porque puede ser que también haya bullying, ¿verdad?, dentro de la escuela, debido a que por eso están las peleas, ¿verdad? Es obvio. Entonces sí, una solución para eso, porque sí, como padre uno se preocupa por los hijos de uno y por los demás alumnos. Gracias.
Yes, speaking about the teachers, I think that's an issue. I think teachers have to do sometimes a better job. I understand that some of them are not certified, so I don't know when they're being hired, what are they basing their decision to hire teachers. Another problem that I identify is that in the last years, I've heard that there's been a lot of fights and conflicts within the school, students fighting among themselves, and sometimes teachers have had to intervene, and teachers end up being injured as well. So I think that's something that I would like to see to have a solution, because as parents we are concerned about all those issues. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Another issue for me would be security. Like when it comes to like using the bathrooms, I'd say like, the bathrooms are for like so you can do your business and not just like smoke in there or stuff like that. Like for example, there was this one occasion where I went to the restroom and I was wronged for smoking because apparently somebody smoked in the restroom I went in. And so I was a bit scared, and so I feel like that's a big issue.
Thank you.
So we spoke about the school creativity, the importance of making sure that we're serving the students who live in our district, making sure they're not getting bused out to other schools. I think it would be important to figure out why a lot of kids have been leaving. I know when we have kids who go to charters, a lot of them are different structures of online settings that maybe have some different parameters that we're not able to offer. I think it'd be important to explore that and figure out why we are losing kids and families to other schools, and then see if we can fill some of those gaps where they're not feeling like they're finding a structure they like in district.
Thank you.
I think another issue is more college readiness, doing more partnerships with the community colleges and the universities, programs like ACE, programs like dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment, so that our students are not only ready for college, but complete both their AA or a degree as well as a high school diploma at the same time.
I think one of the things that should be happening with our future superintendent should be thinking about is, I'm going to piggyback on what the gentleman just said, having a relationship and a more formal way of recruiting teachers. There are several teacher friends of mine that are in the community college setting, and there are very few students that's interested in education. I think that the next superintendent should have some type of insight and perhaps some type of connections to be able to actively recruit for this dire strait that we are facing, not only in Phoenix Union, but nationwide, with the lack of students, college students, participating in educational programs.
Thank you.
Good evening. Something that I believe is a current and future issue that we have within the school district, and I feel that should be addressed, and it is also echoed with other schools throughout the 24 schools that are offered here at our district, is that there are teachers. Teacher retention is not the only issue in terms of fiscal responsibility and monetary gain, but also there are teachers who feel that they are taking more tasks. They have more professional responsibilities than they have to uphold, and sometimes the support is not there.
Thank you. All right. I want to mention, you'll see 2 QR codes on the screen, and for those online or those of you present, if you're more comfortable providing written input to these questions, that QR code will take you to a simple form you can fill out and do it that way. I have a hand over here.
I think another issue would be equity, and I'm speaking of gender equity, one, and an overrepresentation of boys in anything ESS related, and an underrepresentation in honors AP. And then equity, racial equity, although our district is very diverse, when we look at some of the programs that are offered, there are not as many African American students that are accessing those programs. So even though there are opportunities at smaller schools or at AP or arts programs and gifted, the representation demographically should reflect the population of our larger student population. So I would hope that there was something as far as recruiting, as far as who's teaching those classes, for it to reflect an opportunity for all students to access those equitably.
Thank you.
I think it would be good to look at accountability of students' attendance. We don't really recognize truancy. We are trying to keep our students here. We are trying to keep our teachers here. But the accountability of student attendance in classes, in the seats, getting the services that we are providing here for our students, I think that is a very important thing, because if they're not here, they're not learning.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to move us forward. Question 3. What personal and professional characteristics do you believe are the most essential for the governing board to consider in screening superintendent candidates? What kind of person should they be looking for? Got a couple down here.
It would be good to see candidates from places other than inside the district and in the state of Arizona. It would be wonderful to have fresh, diverse voices and fresh, diverse experiences. It would be a benefit to have the individual have a classroom experience background so that they will be an advocate for all stakeholders, beginning with parents and students, continuing with certified employees and then classified employees, so that they understand the complete dynamics of a district with this much diversity. It would also be a benefit if they have prior successful urban experience in a district that is very diverse, with languages, with cultures, and with race and ethnicity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. That was pretty much what I wanted to say. I'm just going to touch on one thing that I think is very important for this person to have. And because we have children in the room, I'm not going to say what I really want to say, but I will say that this person has to have the tenacity. Thank you. This person has to have the tenacity to do what is necessary to clean up, bring in, do with, to make this Phoenix Union High School District a leading district in the nation. That person has to have the kahunas.
Thank you.
Hi, in searching for a superintendent, I would like to see somebody that is willing to have conversations and build a bridge between the campus and district. Very much how we as a campus, or most campuses struggle in bringing the community onto the campus and welcoming parents and letting parents know that this is a space for them and for their voices to be heard and for them to participate in. I feel that like when I go to CE, there's always like this barrier. Like, you are a guest, you're not necessarily welcome there. So I would like someone that can maybe open it up, where it's not just the people that work within the halls and the walls of CE or the people that are comfortable there. Everyone else should just be grateful to be allowed in. Right.
Thank you.
That person, just as my colleague mentioned, should be in the community and be transparent in every sense of the word. I would like to see a superintendent who could name all of our schools. I would like to see a superintendent who knows who's running the schools, the principals, the ones who need accolades, and the ones that need to
her to carve out time in her schedule to be on campuses, and I was very impressed. And I think that that superintendent said somewhere average between 2 to 3 hours daily. She has it scheduled on her calendar to be on campuses. So I will say a superintendent that makes the time, creates the time and space to come out to campuses and visit.
I have experience from being in districts when there is a change of superintendent a couple times in a different district that I won't name, and there was one experience of us getting that and could sell themselves really well, but people would comment on those articles saying this is not a great person to have leading your district. They're leaving this place with some problems. This person would very overtly talk about how they are a change maker, they are a disruptor, and I think sometimes that narrative can sound interesting if people are looking for some change, but we have a lot of good things going, and it doesn't mean that everything's broken. And I think that it would be really good if somebody coming in comes in with the interest in learning what's going really well. So some of the other ideas I've heard, like visiting campuses, that would bring those things to light. Being open to have that bridge of communication with the schools. So I think that making sure that it's somebody who's not just coming in with this narrative of I'm coming to fix the place, or I'm going to just copy and paste whatever I did, maybe in a different state here, expecting the exact same outcome. But I think they should be very inquisitive, wanting to learn, wanting to support what's going well.
Thank you.
I think some other pieces of finding a new superintendent, someone who, when they do come to the campus, a photo crew is not following them around, but also rolling up your sleeves and getting in the trenches with us. So I know there are some local districts and some districts across the nation that everyone at the district office is required to sub X amount of days per month or per quarter.
Okay.
And as an administrator, I've subbed in the classroom, so having that same kind of expectation from the top down.
Sí, me gustaría que el superintendente sea responsable y que muestre verdadero interés en el crecimiento académico de los alumnos, y que, ¿por qué no? Si un alumno va bien, que tenga buenos grados, que ¿por qué no que le dé un reconocimiento? Porque eso ayuda para que los alumnos se animen más y pues le echen más ganas, ¿verdad?, al estudio. Gracias.
I would like to see a superintendent that will support the academic growth of students, someone that identifies students that are doing a good job and that would motivate them, do some kind of activity to increase that and to motivate students that are doing a good job.
I would like a superintendent that not only is known for being a superintendent, but also a person who has like a good connection with students, and making them feel proud to be in a certain district. I feel like that would be a good thing for me, and that will help me like also break out the ice and become more extrovert with that person and feel at some point comfortable.
Thank you.
I'm sure there's probably some subjective characteristics and criteria that I personally probably not qualified to identify, but just objectively and in terms of measurables, I think being able to identify where the district is truly falling short to get it on the right path, because again, there are some things where regardless of how we feel about the situation, if that's the criteria, if that's the objective, or if that's the number or whatever it is, and we're not reaching it, then it certainly needs to be, somebody needs to be able to identify that, not only, create a path, but actually provide the path in order to fix it, mitigate it, whatever the case is, and make sure you can actually achieve those goals.
Thank you.
I would like to see a superintendent for this district to be someone who, not only by the choice of words of personal and professional, to actually be the part. A lot of times you have people that you put down on paper that says that they are and they are not. You don't walk the walk. You may pretend you talk the talk, but you're not that person. You should not be cliquish with certain people that you put in place to work with you. And then you set up your little group of people who play golf. And if you don't play golf, you don't get to know what's really going on. So for this district, and I don't really care about all the other districts that they're getting rid of their superintendents, and I do mean getting rid of them for whatever reason. This district is one that, it's not about setting examples, but this district is a special, special district to me. And the students are very special. This district needs someone who really cares about the students, cares about the people working in the cafeteria, cares about security, care about the teachers when someone dies, cares about the other administrators, because if a superintendent doesn't know how an administrator feels at the end of the day, how a teacher feels at the end of the day, how the clerical staff feel at the end of the day, you should not be a superintendent in this district. I am serious, because you got to walk the walk and you got to feel it. And when a district superintendent hires people just because they have something on paper, they say that they qualify, that's no good. You need to know how people feel. You need to know, just because you as a superintendent got a piece of paper that said you're a superintendent, if you're not qualified, you should not be in this district. And I'll shut up.
Thank you.
I think that a good superintendent would be able to manage the politics of the job, be able to adapt to new board members, be able to manage state funding and changes in the school community while not sacrificing the district's vision, also being a lobbyist for our district and our vision and what things we need here in Phoenix Union District.
Thank you. Others? Qualities and characteristics. Over here. You're getting your steps in, Juve.
I think it has to be somebody that's willing to make tough choices, because while I love a good focus group and a collaboration, some things have to be a directive, and it has to be that follow through with the best interests of our kids and families at heart, and that's not an easy thing. And so it can't be, you can't straddle the fence the entire time. You can't play both sides. Somebody that is willing to make a definitive decision and be able to stand on that 10 toes down and say that I made this decision because it's in the best interest of our kids and families, and be willing to justify that and support that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think also we need someone who can build relationships in the community. Not only the South Phoenix community, but all of the communities of Phoenix Union, because these communities look different. And so it is not a one-size-fits-all. And so I think it is important that we bring someone who can understand the dynamics of each of the communities, build relationships, and empower the principals to build stronger relationships in those communities, which will help our students grow and help our community grow.
Thank you.
To add to this gentleman's comment, building relationships with partner districts as well. And then also we know that the Phoenix Union footprint is overcome by charters, and really maybe building relationships with the K-8 charters to help them know and see what Phoenix Union has to offer, and in hopes of increasing our enrollment in years to come.
Thank you. All right. Going once. And I need to double check. Did anybody tune in online? No. Okay. All right. I can tell you this. My two colleagues and I have done several of listening sessions and now this third forum. And one thing is crystal clear, that there's a deep level of care and passion folks have for this place. And we've met several people who have called this place either their home for decades or they've been employees here for decades. I met another one today during the earlier listening session who was retired and came back because of the shortage situation and could be enjoying retirement, but chose to give back. And I think that's emblematic of part of the culture that just makes this a special place. You said it, this is a very special place. And that makes our job as recruiters a lot easier. This is not a hard place to market to potential candidates because there's so much potential here and so many good things to build upon. The point's been made tonight that some of you want a leader that not only looks at what needs to be improved, but also respects and honors what's going well and builds upon that and works well with people. These are qualities we hear in most searches, but in each place there's a unique collection of qualities and characteristics that fit best with what Phoenix Union needs right now and into the next 3 to 5 years or longer. So thank you all again for taking time out of your busy day, for a lot of you after a long, hard work day, to weigh in with your opinions. I am going to plug one more time the survey opportunity that will be open through December and into early January, closes on January 5th. Please help us spread the word with your friends, your family members. If you are a staff member, please encourage your coworkers. If you work with students, we would love as many students to participate in that as possible so we hear their voice as well. And with that, I'm going to close out the third and final community forum on your superintendent search. And will you join me, please, in thanking the district staff, the school team here that's hosting, Joel for his interpretation skills, your tech team who've done all three, and Juve and his team who are helping us every step of the way. We deeply appreciate the wonderful team of support that we have here with Phoenix Union. Thank you so much.